respond.
We cross now live to Daniel Shaw, Senior Research Fellow at the Council on Hemispheric Affairs. Thank you, Mr. Shaw, for joining us. Now, it was just about a year ago that Evo Morales, the former president, was ousted from power, and his opposition had said that the elections that brought him there were fraudulent. But now, according to these exit polls, it looks like his party, the Movement for Socialism, is quite popular. Are we seeing its return to power, and do you think the results are surprising?
Exactly, Donald. The MAS, the Movement Towards Socialism, never ceased to be popular. But the coup-mongers, the neoliberal forces with the support of Pompeo, Trump, the Pentagon, the State Department here in Washington, and the right-wing forces across the continent had the upper hand. This is an amazing victory for the overwhelmingly indigenous, the vast majority of Bolivians who are indigenous. But we should not expect that this political victory translates overnight into an economic victory. The right-wing forces, supported by the U.S., are going to do everything to push back against the MAS, against Arce's victory and the people's victory. So this is going to continue to play out in the course of the next hours, days, months, and years.
Right. Well, last year when the right-wing forces were attacking the election results that brought Evo Morales to power, we also saw that Washington was echoing their criticisms. Do you think, what do you think they're going to have to say about this one?
Definitely this comes as bad news to the ruling class in the United States, because with the pendulum shifting back towards the left, towards the anti-imperialist popular forces of Bolivia, this gives more momentum to a blockaded Cuba, blockaded Nicaragua and Venezuela. We have big elections coming up next year in Brazil. We've seen what they've tried to do in Ecuador with a campaign of lawfare to try to say that Rafael Correa is a criminal. He cannot come back to his homeland. So what was called in generations past the Cold War is still ongoing. This global class struggle that's playing out in Bolivia, in Argentina, in Chile. We saw these massive protests yesterday. So it'll continue to play out, as I said.
Yeah, well, another interesting thing is that the opposition to the Movement for Socialism Party even gave up before the official election results came out. Are you surprised about that?
Yeah, it makes me think they have other tricks up their sleeve. To hear an Áñez, a Camacho, and a Mesa concede defeat, they could have tried to drag it out, as the right-wing media was doing. But it was such an overwhelming popular victory for Arce and the MAS and the people of Evo Morales, and what they're calling the Ajamu, the soul of Bolivia, in the Aymara language, that I think the right wing, they don't know what to do right now. Of course, they wanted to win with the facade of democracy, but maybe they won't concede power. Maybe there'll be another coup. The military is very divided in the police forces. There's a lot of reactionaries within. So again, this is not just an overnight victory. The people of Bolivia have sacrificed so much in the past 11 months, and there's no reason to think that they're not going to have to continue to defend their gains in the past 14 years when Evo Morales first assumed power in 2006.
Right. Well, we've talked a bit about the parallels between the elections that are taking place now and those from last year. But how would you assess the rule of the interim government that was taking place over this past year?
I would assess it as the mismanagement of the COVID-19 pandemic. One of the worst years for Bolivia since the historic victory of Evo Morales in 2006. Of course, the vast resources of Bolivia. We could have called this last year's coup a lithium coup or a gas coup or a water coup, because, of course, that's what these fascist forces, these neoliberal forces based in Santa Cruz, that's what they're after. There was a whole secession movement back in the mid-2000s. So this is an important victory, but we should remain cautious, and the people of the world vigilant and in the streets to continue to support a genuine popular democracy, an economic democracy, a social democracy, and a political democracy in Bolivia.
Daniel Shaw of the Council on Hemispheric Affairs, thank you very much for joining us and giving us your expert input.
Thank you.